So when you have a graph, how do you find the equation of a line? You have to keep in mind that your goal is to fill in the equation y equals mx plus b. So that means that our first step is to find the value of m. What does m represent? M always stands for slope, and slope is rise over run. So if I have a graph, to find slope, I need to choose 2 points. It doesn't matter which points you pick. So I'm going to pick this point down here, and I'm going to pick this point up here. Next, I need to find the rise. So that means to get from this point on the left to that point on the right, how much do I have to go up or down? In this case, I need to go up, and I got to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my rise is 6. To find run, I ask myself, how much do I have to go left or right? I got to go right. I got to go right 1, 2, 3 units. So my run is 3. We can simplify 6 divided by 3, that's just 2. So we found our slope. Our next step is even quicker. We have to find the value of b. What does b represent? B always stands for the y-intercept. All right, to find that, I need to know that this is my y-axis, the one that goes up and down, and I need to find where that y-axis and my line meet up. So notice they cross right here. So that right there, that point is my y-intercept. What's the y value of that point? Well, it's 1. So we found b. b is 1. All right, our last step. We need to use our formula to plug everything in. So our formula has y equals, so we need that. Our slope we found is 2. Our formula tells us to multiply by x, and then finally add b, our y-intercept, which is 1. And there you go. That's the equation of this line. Let's do another example. All right, same steps, different line. Our first step is to find the slope. So I need to choose 2 points. It doesn't matter which 2, so I'm going to pick this one here and this one down here. To get from this point on the left to that point on the right, how much do I have to rise? How much do I have to go up or down? In this case, we have to go down. And we went down, let's see, 1, 2. So since we went down, my rise is a negative number. We went down 2 units, so our rise is -2. How about our run? To get from here to there, we need to go right 1, 2 units. Right is positive, so our run is +2. And we can simplify -2 divided by 2. Well, that's just -1. Next. Our next step, we need to find b. What does b represent? It's always the y-intercept. Here's our y-axis. Here's our line. They meet up right there. That's a special point, the one that's right in the middle. What's that called? That's the origin. What's the y value of that point right there? Well, it's 0. So our b, that's 0. All right, here we go. Last step. We need to put all the pieces together. We have y equals our slope. That's -1 times x. And then we have to add b, which is 0. All right. That's a perfectly legit equation, but we can clean it up. What happens when you add 0 to something? Well, nothing. It doesn't change. Like, what's 3 plus 0? It's just 3. We don't need the +0, so I'm going to get rid of it. Also, here we're multiplying by 1, well, -1, but when you multiply by 1, it doesn't change, so we don't have to write the 1. We do have to write the negative, but not the 1. So our final answer, y equals -x. All right, you ready for the last example? Same steps, different line. We need to find our slope. That's our first step. So to do that, let's choose 2 points. I'm going to pick this one here, that one there. All right, to get from this point on the left to that point on the right, how much do I have to rise? It's a trick question. I don't have to rise. I don't have to go up or down. So what does that tell me? What do you think my rise is going to be? It's 0. It means that I don't rise. But I do have to run. I got to go right. 1, 2. So right 2, that's positive 2. We can definitely simplify this. What's 0 divided by 2? Well, 0 divided by anything is 0. So this time our slope is 0. All right, next step. Let's find b. What does b represent? Like always, it's our y-intercept. So here's my y-axis. There's my line. They meet up at that point right there. What's the y value of that point? Well, we go down 3, so the y value is -3. Last step, let's put it all together. Y equals m is 0, times x, and then we're going to add -3. What happens when you add a negative number? Well, that's just the same thing as subtraction, so that plus sign doesn't have to be there. I'm going to get rid of it. Like, we didn't have to write it at all. So just -3. And then here, this is 0 times x. And what happens when you multiply by 0? Well, it's just 0. So this whole term here becomes 0. We don't need that either. So this line cleans up quite a bit. Our final answer is y equals -3. That's it. All right, you're about to do 3 more examples by yourself, but don't worry, you can use the same steps every single time. First, find your slope, your rise over your run. Then, find your y-intercept, that's b. And finally, plug everything into your formula, y equals mx plus b. You got this. Good luck.